Hello, music students. Today we're going to do something a little different. See, the month of March is Music in Our Schools month, so usually I like to spend the last several days of class during March learning about different career choices and career paths in the music world. There are so many things outside of just being a musician, not just performing, and I want you to know about those careers for two reasons. Number one, maybe this is a career you would be interested in someday. Maybe you really like music and you want to do something with it, but you're not sure if being a performer is necessarily for you. So maybe this is something you could consider. Or maybe you're not really interested in a career in music, but I do think it's valuable for you to know about those different careers that are out there and to appreciate the people that do them. Because I think we have some really cool people that you're going to meet, and I just think it's good to understand other people in the world around us and value what they do. So today, we're going to start by meeting a music therapist named Bailey. Maybe you've never heard of music therapy, and if you haven't, even better. Bailey's going to tell us a little bit about what it is that she does. What is music therapy, and how is it used? She'll explain what a typical day looks like for her and some of the things she likes about being a music therapist, and also some of the challenges. Again, I hope this maybe gives you a better understanding of another career that's out there in the music world. Without further ado, let's get over to the interview.
All right. Hi. Can you introduce yourself
Hi.
to the students?
Hi, my name is Bailey. I am a music therapist. I'm currently based out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right. So, how did you become a music therapist?
All right, so I came to it a little bit of a roundabout way. You can go right to school for music therapy. I myself had an undergraduate degree in music, and then when I got out of that, I was like, okay, so now what do I want to do? I was considering graduate school for performance and that sort of thing, and realized my heart just wasn't quite in it as much as it had to be. But I'd always worked in summer camps and worked with kids and really enjoyed working with people. So I knew someone else who had become a music therapist. So I talked to her quite a bit and ended up going back to school. And so I received what's called an equivalency, which is I basically got a second bachelor's and a master's at the same time. Um, and we have internship and practicum, like to learn all of our skills, and then we take a board exam, and then you're a professional.
Awesome. So, what made you want to do this? Was there anything specific that drew you to this career?
It really was just being able to combine my different interests and passions. I love music. I've always been involved in music, playing instruments, singing, all that stuff. But then also a career in a helping profession. Um, I do really enjoy helping people and working with people much more than a on stage aspect of it. So yeah, I was able to combine my passions in a way that I could do a little good in the world. So
Awesome. What exactly is music therapy? I think this is kind of a new topic for our students. So, can you introduce that a little bit for us?
yeah, of course. That's always like the main question is, what is music therapy? I'm going to try to not go on too terribly long about it. But in a nutshell, music therapy uses music as a tool to address functional non-musical goals. So that can be all ages, from little premature babies to geriatrics, in all different need areas, be it cognitive needs, physical needs, social emotional needs, communication, um, speech and language, all of those things. So for example, um, in a physical goal. You may be working with a physical therapist to reach up, right? So what I would do as a music therapist be get a drumstick in your hand, get a drum up here, and you got to reach up and play it. So using that as the tool to reach that goal. In more of a mental health setting, that would be, it could be improvisation and drumming together for nonverbal communication and social skills, or some modified songwriting for self-expression and self-awareness. As that tool, often if there's brain damage or a developmental disability, individuals are able to sing even when they're not able to speak. So working with that singing to develop or to I'm not going to say fix, but to kind of recreate speech abilities and communication, behavior skills with especially with some children. So it's kind of a, yeah, it's just a different tool that we use, and using music to work on all these other goals.
Awesome. So what does a typical day look like for you then?
Maybe
not right now outside
yeah.
of quarantine.
Yeah, right now is a little bit different, but it's kind of always different. I'm currently working in hospice, so sometimes it's just simple comfort care, and I go in and I sing and I play my guitar, for someone to help alleviate their pain. But oftentimes that is, maybe an individual with Alzheimer's, I can go and visit, and those old songs will help create a sense of grounding and a sense and a time in reality, because those old songs will still be familiar usually with dementia patients. Sometimes it's using music for self-expression or for coping, or to create a legacy project in someone who is passing. I also have a private practice, and I work with children with mental disabilities. So when I do that, I have like all my bags of instruments and fun stuff, and I will go in. My sessions are anywhere from usually 30 minutes to an hour. And I go into their homes, and we work on, all their different goals. Not all music therapists do in-home therapy. I've worked in the hospital setting before. I've worked in assisted living before. But oftentimes, I'd say probably about half the time it ends up being something home-based, especially as you're starting. If you do start a private practice, just because it's a whole lot easy clinic space. And hospice will usually be home-based, and there's a lot of us who work in hospice. So it depends on what your setting is. Some people are in the school, some people are in hospitals. So all different. And then of course there's the unfun stuff like planning and documentation and stuff. But if you find your right niche, then that becomes a little bit fun too, because you get to experiment and you get to be creative and you get to think of new ways of doing things. And it's my job to like learn new music, so that's kind of fun too.
Cool. So what's your favorite part about your job?
My favorite part, I think, is well, I love that it's never boring. It's never like the same thing. This last like month being at home, I'm like, I don't know how people sit in an office. I don't understand. So it's never boring, never 2 days alike, really. But then my favorite part is just seeing change in people, and that look on, say, a mom's face when their kid is like holding something for the first time, or in the psych setting when someone says, "Hey, Miss Bailey, I was I was about to punch that guy because I was so mad, but then I thought about this one thing we did and I didn't, and da, 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 and or in a dementia patient, having someone who can't put a sentence together anymore, sing along, and then the looks on their families' faces, or in that like sense of peace that they may get. So yeah, being able to actually like make a small difference in people's lives is absolutely the best part.
On the other side of that, what's the biggest challenge for you?
Okay, so to me, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but to me, the absolute worst thing about being a music therapist is like every single time you meet someone, you have to explain what you do. And you have to be like, there's a lot of misconceptions. Like they'll be like, oh, so you just like play music at someone and they feel better? No, like, oh, not exactly. Or like, oh, my niece is plays music in the nursing home. She's a music therapist. Well, no, she's doing a really great thing and wonderful thing, but it's different. So or when the response, so what are you? Oh, I'm a music therapist. Oh, that's cute. So I'd say probably like the misconceptions around what a music therapist does is probably the hardest part of the job. That said, like even in the last 5-10 years, there's just been like leaps and bounds of advocacy and awareness, and it's becoming more and more prevalent and more used. And so I think within the next 10-20 years, it'll really, like, that side of it's gonna kind of taper off, hopefully.
Okay, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So while you've been stuck in quarantine, and I think you've been in it longer than we have,
Okay.
has music been helpful to you during this time? And if so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say I'm pretty lucky that I'm able to do like Zoom sessions, and so I am still seeing most of my patients. So I'm not quite as like bored as some people, but but yeah, I've been using music quite a bit, be it just to get my mind off of things. I'll be like, I'm going to learn XYZ new music today, or like, I want to learn this, I want to learn this. Using it to change my moods. And I will actually, I can give you a link to it. I like to do something I call a mood sequence. And it's a way of like kind of taking yourself from point A to point B using music a little bit. Because you don't want to get, stuck necessarily. Like if I'm really mad and I listen to angry music all day, I'm just going to stay angry. So, using it, yeah, as a distraction tool, as a coping tool, as, something to do. And it's also been cool to see, just like online on the internet, like different people doing new and creative things. And, like that has also kind of helped me while I've been in quarantine, is seeing what everyone else is doing musically. So
Cool. So before I let you go, do you have any advice for our students, the young musicians that are thinking about a career and not thinking about a career in music? Who knows? But for those young musicians, any advice for them?
yeah, absolutely. I'd say you first, you as far as if you are considering a career in music, like kind of really think about like where your passions lie. And it's okay to be a little creative. It's okay to step outside of the box. For me, I went through a whole degree before I realized like I didn't want to be a performer. I was like, oh, I actually don't like practicing 7-8 hours a day. Like I'd rather be out like with people. And and but there's so many things that, but I also didn't, I didn't want to give that up. So there's so many things you can do, be it education or therapy, or there is sound healing, or there is music and meditation, there is um, uh, the sound baths. Like, that's a new career that, I mean, I don't really know a ton about. And so there's so many things you can do. Like, don't be afraid to be creative in that. And then as far as, right now, using music in this kind of really crazy time, first off, take advantage of the extra time you have. Like, if you have some extra practice time, you want to pick up a new instrument, something you've never tried before, get a ukulele and play around with it. And then as far as listening to music, my only advice there would just be to not get stuck in something, especially when we are stuck in one place. It's easy to get stuck in something musically. And if maybe we're feeling kind of melancholy, listening to sad music all day, and then we just kind of get stuck in that. Not saying that you're only allowed to listen to happy music, but just be cognizant of what you're, or aware of what you are listening to and how it makes you feel, and make sure you're trying to listen to stuff that makes you feel good, and yeah, just have fun with it. Like, you've got time, so experiment and try and have fun with music.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a fantastic opportunity for our students, so I'm excited to share this with them.
There you have it, music therapy. Perhaps a completely new topic for you, something you hadn't heard of, or maybe something you were already familiar with. But either way, I hope you learned something today, and I hope you at least have a new appreciation for a career that is very unique and not often heard about. If you have any questions for Bailey, or you're curious about more connected to music therapy, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can put you in touch with her, or I can reach out to her again for you as well. Until next time, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.